I forgot to click that. Larry, would you go ahead and mute yourself if you don't mind?
We may have a question.
All right. So we're here in Engage. You can see up at the top, this is still your Moxi. I call it the Moxi House banner. So you could toggle and go to your websites or Impress. So we're Engage. This is your agent dashboard. We're going to come over to campaigns today. And so what we're going to do is, it doesn't really matter which, what's going on? It doesn't matter. In this case, Moxi has lots of different templates. And what we're going to do is we're just going to pick any template to make it your own. So
Hey, Alec,
yes, Larry.
try to speak up real loud. We've only got it on my computer here and it's not really very loud. That's what I was trying to get another speaker hooked up to it. Yeah, just speak up as loud as you can.
Okay, I can do that. I can do that. And then if you wouldn't mind too, I can hear you. There you go. You got yourself muted. Thank you. So you can see when you come up here and click add from libraries, you're going to go okay, so here's your different headers up at the top. Here's your neighborhood news that Michelle talked about yesterday, your listing announcements. I don't have any listings or any data that's going to come and populate here, but if you've used it, you'll have things. So right now we're going to go into my emails. And it doesn't matter which tab, you could start this from anywhere, but add from libraries, your start all, and then you can see emails is selected here. You can toggle around to what you want to do. So we're going to come to any of them and you can preview them before and see what it has. So this one has a space for a video or a graphic, a link to YouTube. Let's go show another one. So here's one that's just a basic kind of thank you with text. So what we're going to do is we're going to toggle. I keep clicking that close. Moxi is very user friendly. So like you see, I want to click back and I think it's going to take me back. There is no back once you open it here. It's down here in the corner. I keep forgetting that. So we're going to come to campaigns. It's the same little thing. You get to preview them. And so you can see this is where you could set up a schedule for I'm going to send one in 1 month, send it again in 3, send it in a year. But just to get started, I keep clicking that. I'm going to come and click. I've been playing around with this recruiting one.
Hey, Alec,
Yes, Larry.
in the chat, there's somebody that wants in, I guess, to the meeting.
I can't see them to let them in. I'm sorry, Alec, I would have done it.
No, you're good.
I don't see. There's nobody.
There's no one.
I just seen it in the chat. I don't know who it was. I think it was Jennifer.
Yeah, there's no one waiting and to get in.
There's no way they could do the chat unless they were in.
Yeah, Jennifer's the one that said others are trying to get in, but I don't see them.
So let's jump back. We're gonna start just freshen up. So we're gonna start add from library, emails. Let me pick a different one now.
And do you have to start from one that's already in there, Alec, or how's that work?
Yes, so you've got to select, they don't have just a blank campaign or anything. So you've got to pick one and then either remove it or tweak it to how you want it to be. And so the nice thing is we're just going to jump in. Let me click the one I would, because what's nice is once you're in here, I'm going to click add to emails. It's then going to populate down here. And then once I click that, I can click it. And so this is your email page. So this is essentially that email template that we just formed. So the first thing that you should get in the habit of doing is entering in what's going to catch that person. So if this is a newsletter for the fall saying how to winterize your home, here's my 5 tips to winterize your home this winter. or if you're going to do an intro or reminder of, hey, I'm your Sylvan Park real estate expert, you would want to put a catchy subject here. This is going to be your email subject. Down here in the include your header and signature. That's going to pull your information straight from Moxi and make sure at the bottom of your email, it says, Louisa Maynard has the urban office, all your contact information. And then you want to click save. Get in the habit of setting up the email portion, your first little tab first. Then we're going to do the build an email. In here, we're going to...
I raised my hand, but you didn't acknowledge. Can I ask a question, please?
Sorry, yes, go ahead.
Okay, when I clicked on campaigns and used all those like templates for emails, I don't get anything. How is it? You had choices to, all I had was FISBO.
I would have to see what your screen's displaying to give you an answer.
You had several options that you clicked, or templates that you clicked from. How did that get populated?
They were already in mine. That's my answer. When I went into engage and started clicking around, I already had all this stuff in there. I'm on the agent side, so you should have it. I'm not even in my manager mode. So that's something we can look into and make sure that yours is working.
Now, has she already done an add from library? Is she looking in the library, or is she looking in her personal campaigns?
That's a great question.
So you got to add from the library first before they'll show up in your personal campaigns.
Correct.
I got
We
it.
got it,
Thank
we got it.
you.
All right. So once you get there, you're going to do that first part. Like I said, set up the bulk. Always make sure you have a catchy subject. That's what's going to get someone to potentially click your email, or at least notice, hey, I got an email from Louisa. Then from here, we're going to look at the email. So when you click that edit campaign, like I said earlier, it doesn't matter which template you use, because right here up in the corner, you could change the template and it's going to actually give you a better view, in my opinion, of what all the different templates that are pre-built that you can use to offer. So here's like a neighborhood info, here's a newsletter, here's, a holiday if you wanted to send one for the 4th of July and say happy 4th of July, listing promotion. So in my opinion, and from all the research I've done from watching other Coldwell Bankers tutorials on this, kind of select a campaign, get in there, and then you can come to change template and play around with what you want to do. Because, for example, you could use this holiday recipe template to display market stats. You could say view my listings. You could have it linked to your website. You could have a tab for come to my next event if it's the Mount Juliet office and it's around the time of year where you do the flowers for your clients. It could be click here to sign up to come pick up your flowers. So there's endless opportunities. Let me switch back to a more basic one just so for this example. So I'm going to show you how to take something like this and make it like a seasonal email. So we're going to do like 5 tips for summer. So I'm going to show you how we can easily, everything in here I can delete. You can see the little trash can icon comes up. Everything is able to be manipulated and turned custom. So you could take all of this out and make it as simple as you'd like. You could just swap it and fill in for what you want. You've got over here on the left, you can toggle and see what it's going to look like from their phones. So you can always toggle back real easily and see, okay, nothing's too big, nothing's taking up too much room. You can send a test. And then let's see, it's letting me preview. So then you can preview it. So you can see from that beginning, I said include the header and the signature. So there's your signature, contact me with any questions. It includes all your information. It's got your equal fair housing logos. It's got everything that's required for this, especially for this specific, just like a holiday shout out or a, seasonal update. So this is your, I call it the builder. This is where you could drag in a place for rows. So if you want to just drop some content in, you can do it like that. If you want to drop 3 different pictures in. So that's what these rows are for. I found that easiest when I was playing around with this for like market stats. If you wanted to send a market stat, for example, Jackson, if you wanted to do the 5 different counties, I can't remember how many off the top of my head, you could drop in 2 of these and then fill them with the 6 pictures and say market update in Jackson. And that's how you can kind of fill in the pictures. Moxie,
They have links associated, if you added a picture to one of those blocks or
you
a
can.
button.
So that's here, they call that a hero image. So it's a little different, but it goes within those blocks or it goes above them. But this is Moxie's version of linking an image to where you can have it take you somewhere. So down here is where you can select your image. And then there is a place to put in a URL as well. Background. And there should be one for the click. There it is. So when you, all this, a hero image is kind of like what Tom just said. It's the way to link an image with a statistic. So if you had a listing, for example, and you wanted to say, view my listing with a link to the Real Tracks listing, this is where you could do that, is in that hero style image. But for this, let me just show you how easy it is to build something, and then we can play around more with what you can do. So you can see I'm deleting all these out to clean it up a bit. And then I'm going to drop in. I want to have a header image. So I'm going to get this and pull in, and you can see it turns green in places where you can drop it. So that's kind of your guide. So I'm going to drop it there. I don't want a header above it. So I'm going to delete those out. And then from here, it says double click. I liked to drop the files the quickest. It worked the best for me when I was doing this earlier. It takes it a second to load, and then it comes over here kind of in your library. You select the image, and you already saw in the background that Moxie's already pulled that image in. So here's get your home ready for summer. And now let's say we want to have a little paragraph about what can you do to get your home ready for summer. So I used my best friend Canva, and I asked her to do the work for me. And I used her little AI. And so generally, if you use anything, I forget what it's called, ChatGPT, or even the Canva AI, it can write you something, but you always have to go in, and it's a robot writing it at the end of the day. So you have to go in and change it. I always say that it's more of a prompt that then you can go elaborate more on. But this could also be something that you've already got typed up. So you've got, you know, we're taking photos at Mount Juliet today. These photos are on us as a brokerage. Mount Juliet will do the family photos for the holidays. So you could write up your blurb and then insert it in there. So I'm just going to take this and throw it straight in to the space. You can see when I click that, I got all the basic text format options. So I can play around with fonts, sizes, adjust the heading. You're not going to have a huge selection, but you can at least spruce it up a little bit if you want, because now the thicker font now matches the header. It looks similar. I can blow this up a little more. We're going to take out the sign up. So you can see we just took what had so many elements to the email, shrank it down to something super simple. And now if you preview, you can see here's almost like a seasonal newsletter that you've got ready to go out. So you could have one ready for fall. You could have one ready for Christmas. This could be a simple graphic with fireworks on it that says, let freedom ring. And you could, you know, have a little blurb in there. Hope you have a great, safe 4th of July with you and your family. and just a way to touch your contacts real easily. So let me show you some other little cool things. There's not a ton of options or a ton of functionality you can build within here. But if you've got social media, for example, you can take this social group, same thing with the image, it highlights green where you can drop it. Things like this are great at the bottom, in my opinion, because then it's going to show up before your header. So they're going to see, you know, these links as well as all that information. And
How's
then
it gonna pull that from my profile as far as what I've set up for those links?
no, you will have to, that's what I was just going to say. You have to automatically put your URL for them.
Okay,
And for example, if you don't, like, we don't really need Twitter, but we want to promote our Instagram. Down here on the social icons, it has a drop down for all the different platforms. So you can click Instagram, it changes it to the Instagram logo. My little bar in there is in the way. So then I can take this Instagram link, paste it in the URL. And now this is now linked to my Instagram whenever someone clicks that in the email. You could do the same thing with your Facebook link. And then, like Tom brought up earlier, your hero image, think of that as a way to add a link to an image. So this could be a property. This could be, I know the Mount Juliet office, you had to like schedule your time for your photo. This could be that link for that. If you're doing a open house and you needed people to click something to sign up for it, you could link an image this way. So no, this has a lot of inner workings going on. So the menu on the right's a little more complex, but it's still easy to come down and kind of find background images. So I could change it to this. And you just kind of got to play around. So here's the size. You can say cover it. Let's say contain. It should be changing, but it's not. No repeat. So that's where you've got to kind of customize, or if you need help, you can email me and I can tell you which dimensions they are. I can help you resize it. And then you can change this text. And we actually wouldn't put the click up there. We would say, you know, middle, TN. And then down here, you can actually click within this box. And you can see as I type more, the box expands. It's smart, so you don't have to worry about resizing or your proportions. And so then you can see when you click, each element in your hero image changes. So your link will have the area for you to then, come on. To paste the link, which it should, there it is, right down there at the very bottom, it hides. And you can also change like where you need the button to look. And you can even, I can really start confusing you all and start talking about with the padding and how to move everything around. Play with things in here. You can't break anything, and you're not going to send an email out just by manipulating something to see what it does. So you can totally click, but down here is where you would paste that link to take you. So even if it was going to be Instagram now, when they click that, it would take them to that Instagram link.
if you went on to Market Center and grabbed a move meter type image, you could throw that in there.
Exactly.
And then on your Moxi website, your personal Moxi website, you could put a link to that page on your website down there. And then all your clients would go there, play around with Move Meter and be on your website. It's just another touch point.
And that could be, that's a great example, Tom. And that could be the whole, that could be this whole email is meet the Move Meter with a little image of it with the link. And you could just have a brief description and see how many, you know, clicks you're getting. Another awesome thing, I'm going to elaborate on this more in the future. I don't want to scare anybody, but you've also got an easy listings. So you can take this, drop it in, and I don't have anything, but it automatically knows what listings you already have active. So you can select the listing and it populates a touch button as well. And so that's just, I think that's easy. You don't even have to do a hero image with a picture of the house. You could just drop your listing in. If you've got multiple listings, for example, I had an agent out in Murfreesboro who had a neighborhood with about 4 houses, and he had a unique website built to where it was just a landing page with his listings. That would be more of something to use with a hero page to say, get to know this neighborhood, take you then to your listings that were all housed in one place. But if you've got 3 listings and you wanted to blast them out to your sphere, you could drop all 3 and have different images for them right below. There is also, if you were going to do like the click here or sign up, if you were going to link your newsletter, or I'm spacing on what it's called, neighborhood news. That way, that's another way just to add a button. Again, the URL is at the bottom. It is not in a very convenient spot, and it doesn't even have like a color heading saying this is where your URL is that makes this button work. So know that is hiding at the bottom. But from here, always preview it before you're done. And like I said, Moxie's having hiccups right now. So let me refresh. Amanda, I know you had your hand up a second ago. What's your question, love?
My question was, so I saw there's like a buyer way of sending out emails, and it says on there as far as scheduling 30 days after you set it up. Is there a way that we can add like all our previous buyers and go from the date that we closed on a property, like happy home anniversary 30, like every year on that same date? Or
That's a great question. Let me do some more digging.
okay.
Is what we're about to get into the scheduling part, because their email scheduler for this isn't the best. And so you'll see as I go into this next session, but that's a good question. Let me make a note of that to look into that, to see if those preset campaigns could be set to like closing date.
I went to like rebar camp a few months back in Nashville, and I met a guy that works for Moxi. I added him on LinkedIn, and he said he'd be happy to get with us on some training. I'm trying to think. Brett, I think was his name. Brett Callthorpe or something like that.
That sounds
I have to look at my.
Yeah.
Instagram.
Oh yeah, Brett's awesome.
Yeah.
Brett's awesome.
So I don't know. I asked him about if there was an app, because when we had Zap before, I was able to use that app on my phone a lot, and it made everything really nice to be able to not have to log in on my iPad or some larger device.
No, I'll definitely look into that. That's a great.
No, there's no app, but they development stages, or I shouldn't say that, they are talking about it with their developers very strongly, because they get asked it all the time.
All right. So when sorry.
And you know what you could do on that? No, I was just going to say, Amanda, if there's not a scheduling way to do it, you remember when I was showing you how you could create your contact, and in that contact card, there's a app where you can add their home anniversary. You could technically create a template in your email campaigns, and you could set up your reminders for that person every year. Just go into that campaign and shoot it out that way once you get the reminder that that's the correct date. So that's not quite as automatic, but if the other doesn't work.
So when I refreshed, I lost everything, which is no fun. Like I said, Moxi, they've been having some issues with Moxi this past week and a half. So hopefully all the kinks will be worked out soon. And it's not letting me. So let me do this. Let me add this back in here now. Let's get back so I can show you, because once you do that, it's not ready to send yet. You've got to do a couple more steps to get it ready to send. So let's change this to custom email. There we go. Okay. And let me, because I was not smart just then. So up here at the top, I forgot to show you, you can change the name of that. So you remember I went into the recruiting, I went in and changed it. So I could change this to summer email. I'm going to change it for the ease of this to custom email. So that when I walk you through these next steps, we will be able to find it easier. So from now, you've made your email, you've got it all set up, ready to go. Now we're going to send it out. So we are going to click My Campaigns in the header. And then we are going to click, see, I took all my notes on here. Add from library. I believe we're going to click over here to emails. And if it would let me scroll, we're going to find our email in here. Oops.
Does that all sources narrow it down for you, Alec, over there on the right-hand side?
No, because they're all the parent company. This might, but it's already should be in there. Let's see. I always been clicking through this since my morning meetings, making sure I was like knew which ones to click. They may be here. Well, why didn't it save over here? Let me just test this. I want to show you how to at least get it there because that's the main thing, because I have the one I put there earlier when I tested this. All right. Okay. So how this works is you have to select a campaign if you're going to send something custom. I've already got it down here, so I'm going to see if I can add it again. Coldwell Banker has in here the campaign called One Generic Campaign. This is your campaign to attach custom emails to. And the way you get it to show up under your campaigns here, I threw myself off there for a minute, is when you come here, go to campaigns, One Generic Campaign is the first one that pops up. So you'll click add to campaigns. It'll tell you it's been added to my campaigns. So, okay, put it in there. So now you've got it in your campaigns. Now you can see this bar, this awaiting setup now changed to 2 campaigns. So we're going to click over to awaiting setup. Make sure. Yes. And now this is how you're going to add your sphere of influence. This is how you're going to add your lists that you built with Michelle, or if you've got, you know, a group of these people just closed, I want to welcome them into their home. This is where you're going to assign that list to that email. So you're going to click await, waiting setup. This is going to show you that one generic campaign you just selected. So then you are going to select that.
Generic campaign.
And we are going to edit the name. I'm just going to call it custom email for my sense. And save, so I know. Then we're going to do add recipients. This would be where you're going to add your list. So when you click this, it's going to pull up all your people and groups that you built. So you would select, you know, everyone add. You'll see they populate in. Done. Now this is where we're going to add our email in. So down here, we're going to click edit schedule. It's going to let you know that you've got to make sure all of your contacts are already selected. No emails created can be added. So now here's where we can add that email, because right now it does not have what to send. So when you click add email, you can click down your drop down, and here's all the emails we can created in my campaign. So you can see here's my custom email. It's not going to look like the one we made because I lost it when I refreshed, but here's what I saved. So this would be your summer, I believe. Let me see. One of my tests I thought had one, but I guess it didn't save either. So now your email is linked in. And now here's where I was talking about Amanda, her question earlier. Moxi is not the smartest when it comes to scheduling. So if you wanted this to send out on the 30th at 9 o'clock in the morning, you would need to come on to Moxi around 9 o'clock to schedule it, because Moxi is going to send this email out at whatever time that it is when I select the date. So I selected 6:30, it's 1:37 p.m. here currently. So this email will send out on 6:30 at 1:37 p.m. Does that make sense? It's not smart when it comes to time. So my workaround for that would be to, build your email and get it ready to go. And then come and do this send steps around the time when you want it to send out. If you don't care if it hits their inbox at, if you're working on it at 9 p.m., I wouldn't schedule it to go out at 9 p.m. if you're working on it late at night. But if you're working on it during the day, anytime, that's generally, I always say, people are more likely to check their emails in the mornings and evenings. I think more of moms and kind of people with work schedules, I'm going to check it before work, kind of in my lunch break, when I get home from work, before the kids wake up, when I put the kids to bed. And so that's the one little thing you've got to remember when doing this. So now I'm going to go ahead and say save. I've selected my date. We're going to say I want it to go out on the 6:30. Let's actually say this is a 4th of July email. It's going to go out on the 4th of July at 2 p.m. or I want it to go out on Sunday, the weekend before the 4th of July. So it's kind of hitting their inboxes before. We're going to click save. And you're going to see Moxi start to work. And it's building it. And then once it's ready to go, this run campaign should turn blue.
Did you add any recipients?
Thank you. I was just noticing there was no blue
Well,
check.
you hit cancel earlier instead of save. After you selected those 26 people,
Let's
you
put
hit cancel. Yeah.
Adrian. So boom, now you see I clicked save down there. I've got recipients. It's thinking.
The run campaign was on before you clicked on that bottom part just a second ago.
I noticed that too. But nothing's been changed, so it should have here.
Click custom campaign down there, the email beside it.
It doesn't let you highlight it.
Oh, okay.
That's if you wanted to, that's what I was going to say at the end. If you want to add, if you have multiple, so if you wanted to sit down one day and do all your holidays at once, you could sit down here and schedule all of them at once. I'm more the person that I would still do it one at a time because that would just panic me. And I would rather be able to turn off one if something goes wrong. Let's see. And it did take it a second when I was practicing this. Do.
Do you have a spinning something on your screen? Because we can't see it. There it is.
Sometimes just takes it a minute. I think this one was taking longer because it's got that link to the video in it.
Okay.
And so then you've got everything scheduled, ready to go, but your run campaign is your send email blast, schedule email blast. So once you click that, it's going to schedule it. So if I clicked it, Adrian would get these emails that I just made on July 2nd at 1:38 p.m. I believe is when I clicked that date. So I will have I showed Michelle this cool thing that I have. I'm going to go through and create how to send it, which things you click in the order. And so I'll have a little one page. I'll blast out company wide so everyone has it. That walks you through that process. But this was also recorded, so you'll be able to watch this back. But that's how you can create an email in Moxi Engage and send it out to your sphere.
And that's if you want to customize it, because there's hundreds of other things you can send out that's already canned and ready to go.
Yes, exactly. This is your custom emails. This is to, touch your sphere, invite them to an event, wish them well on a holiday, let them know you're still around too. It's always great just to send a reintroductory email every now and then. It just stays fresh with people, and you never know. Someone might get that email and they might remember who you are and say, oh, Susan was just asking me who my realtor is. Let me forward this to her and send her a text and say, hey, I just got this from my real estate agent. So hopefully that didn't scare anybody. We hit a little rocky area there, but that is how you do it. And then you can see down here, now that I came back to campaigns, since we changed that generic campaign we went in. So if this was your 4th of July email, you would have changed that to 4th of July. It would change to 4th of July. And then this is where you can see how many people open it, how many people at least clicked it, how many people went down to the bottom of your page and said, remove me from this list. And so that's how you can start to track to see, okay, my holiday emails are getting good responses, or okay, my listing emails are getting more clicks than my holidays. I'm going to pull back on my holidays and spend more time pushing my listings out. Did I lose anyone? Any questions? Need ideas for what to send, what you could send?
It's a great job, Alec. There's a lot of interesting and great things there.
Thank you. Thank you. This will all be up in Level Up too. So you'll be able to go and rewatch it. And I'm very much someone that will have the tutorial to the side of me, and I'll click and follow and do what they're doing just to see. And like you just saw, I just created these. I didn't even schedule it. It still says awaiting, but you could go and play and get to this screen and practice and be like, okay, I got hung up on here. Let me send Alec an email and figure out what I'm not clicking correct. And then something else I thought of to Amanda, for your question, is to better schedule that out. If you wanted to, you could also create a list of your home buyers by the month that they purchased, and then organize, schedule out 3 of these to go out 1 year. The next year you could do it that way too. It's a little more tedious, but that's one little workaround on that as well.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to organize my Moxie in the year that I've sold houses to these people. That way, 5 years somebody's in a house, 2 years somebody's in a house, maybe send out some things on that.
Yeah, that's an easy way to send out one mass happy 10-year anniversary. And it doesn't have to be the same, month. This can be, oh, this is all my clients that are going to be 10 years. Awesome. Awesome. I was gonna say, I got a couple deers in the headlights. Overwhelmed.
The main thing is Alec, pull up the ad from library and see all the different campaigns that are already built. Now they're going to be generic. There's going to be somewhat generic, and they're going to give you some tips and stuff that works for anybody in Los Angeles or in Jackson, Tennessee, or in Nashville or in Murfreesboro. It's just kind of generic, but it's still a touch point, so that's good. But think of other things you could do. I mean, maybe you want to do something local to, say, Jackson, and you want to list the top 10 restaurants in Jackson. You could, as simple as go over to Open Table, you could go over to Yelp, you could sort it by, customer rating. You can get that link from the top of that page when you're searching it. And then you could go in and create a customized email and say, top restaurants in Jackson. And when they click on that link, go to that URL over on Yelp, and it just takes them straight to that type of information that's already out there on the internet. But, the best thing you can do, on top of just reaching out to the client, is to give them something of value. It could be some hot neighborhoods there, and you could go over to your personal website and do a search for such and such a neighborhood or several neighborhoods. Go to the top of your screen, pick the URL that gets you to that page, and then put that URL as a button in your custom email. So it's just kind of the sky's the limit on what you could do with it.
Yep. Lots of endless possibilities for things you could send out. Could be, you could also send out, if you, or you could organize a list of all your clients that are not from Tennessee, that moved here from other places. And you could say, here's a local, here's a local place that does soaps. Here's a local place that does honey. Here's local distilleries. If you want to go tour Jack Daniels, if you want to go see, I don't know if there's goo clusters, but you could link things like that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Well, since y'all attended, you get to know the subject for the next class. That way you can get ready for it. So next week, we're going to side rail a little bit, and I'm going to give you tips and tricks when you are recording yourself on video, and how to get comfortable in front of my tips for getting comfortable in front of the camera as I sit here and stutter and talk in front of the camera to all of you. Luckily, you'll be at home and you can take as many takes as you want. So I'll give you some of my trips and show you some of the lights I would say if you want to get serious about it, you can add, and then we'll show you what you can do with those videos from there.
Yay.
Yep, we're going to get you more comfortable with it.
Yes, yes.
It's our goal. All right, Alec, that was awesome. Thank you for the follow-up.
Thank you, Alec.
Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you all for taking time out of your day to come and learn about Moxi Engage.
Thanks, Alec.
Thanks,
Bye,
Alec.
everybody.
See you next week.
Bye.